Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast where we navigate the fascinating world of Microsoft's Power Platform. I'm Mirko, and today we're diving into how this incredible suite of tools helps organizations unleash their potential. Now, if you're not familiar with it, the Power Platform combines Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, and Power Virtual Agents. It's all about enabling teams to create custom apps and automate processes without heavy coding. But with all this power, pun intended, comes the responsibility of managing permissions. Too much access can lead to security risks, and that's something we cannot ignore. To help us avoid these pitfalls, I'm joined by Marcel, a Power Platform expert. Marcel, thanks for being here. Can you shed some light on how organizations can approach securing their environments with what's called least privilege?
Thanks, Mirko. Yes, absolutely. Ensuring least privilege means giving users only the access they need to perform their duties. This minimizes potential security breaches by restricting unnecessary permissions. The Power Platform, while very user-friendly and flexible, can indeed create challenges if permissions aren't carefully managed. It's crucial to continually assess roles and permissions. A good starting point is conducting a thorough review of current access levels. Often, environments accumulate permissions over time, sometimes without much oversight.
That's exactly, Marcel. Sometimes we tend to overlook how easily permissions are granted and then forget about them. Keeping track is key.
Right, Mirko, regular audits and using security groups can really help streamline this process and ensure everyone has the right level of access. And as we explore this topic further, we'll delve into specific strategies and best practices for securing your Power Platform environments. It's all about balanced control and ease of use.
Thanks for that insight, Marcel. It's clear that maintaining a secure Power Platform environment is about strategic, ongoing effort. Ready to dive deeper? All right, so let's dive into Microsoft's Power Platform. I'm eager to understand how it all fits together.
Great. So Microsoft's Power Platform is essentially a suite of tools that helps businesses of all sizes to build custom applications, automate workflows, and analyze data with ease.
Interesting. I've heard a lot about these low-code solutions. What makes them stand out?
Well, the Power Platform consists of Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, and Power Virtual Agents. Each tool serves a unique function. They all integrate seamlessly to drive business efficiency and innovation.
That's fascinating. Can you tell me more about each of these components?
Absolutely. Let's start with Power Apps. It's a tool that enables users to build custom applications to solve specific business needs without needing extensive coding skills. It's really about democratizing app development.
Makes sense and definitely sounds empowering. What about Power Automate?
Power Automate, as the name suggests, helps in automating workflows across applications and services. Think of it as a way to save time and reduce human error by automating repetitive tasks. Then we have Power BI, which is a powerful analytics tool. It allows businesses to visualize their data and make informed decisions. With Power BI, you can create interactive reports and dashboards that provide insights at a glance.
Data-driven decision-making is crucial these days. How about Power Virtual Agents?
Power Virtual Agents lets you create chatbots with no coding involved, as these bots can handle customer inquiries, automate customer service, and much more. It's an intuitive way to engage with customers. Overall, the Power Platform empowers users to be innovative without needing a deep technical background. It levels the playing field for teams to innovate and transform processes. But with great power comes great responsibility, especially in securing permissions properly.
Absolutely. I can see how it's crucial to manage permissions effectively.
Okay.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. You'll cover the challenges around permissions next, right? Access control really is a tricky subject when dealing with the Power Platform. It's like walking a tightrope between user empowerment and safeguarding sensitive information.
Absolutely, Mirko. The Power Platform gives such a wide range of capabilities, which is fantastic for innovation and building solutions fast. But if you aren't careful with permissions, you could accidentally open the door too wide.
So, Marcel, how do you approach permissions to strike that necessary balance?
Well, as One of the key things is focusing on specificity, assign permissions based on the actual needs of users rather than blanket privileges, start small and scale as necessary.
Makes sense. It sounds like it requires a thorough understanding of what each role really needs to access versus what's comfortable to give them.
Exactly. Analyzing tasks and data in each role typically deals with essential. This way, functionalities are aligned with actual job requirements, reducing the risk of excessive permissions.
And what about monitoring? Is that a big part of managing permissions effectively?
Definitely. And regular audits and monitoring can alert you to unusual activities or access requests that don't make sense relative to the user's role.
It's almost like you have to continuously survey the landscape of permissions and access to ensure it's still appropriate.
Yes, you're spot on. Permissions shouldn't be a set it and forget it kind of thing. It's about adapting and evolving with organizational and user needs.
This definitely highlights why having a well-thought-out permission strategy is crucial. It allows you to make adjustments swiftly without impacting user productivity drastically.
Precisely, Mirko. Swift adjustments, but always with caution and a full understanding of the implications of any changes made.
So, Marcel, earlier you touched on something really crucial. The principle of least privilege sounds pretty straightforward, but I'm sure it has a lot of depth when it comes to implementation.
Absolutely. Mirko, the concept of least privilege is not just a best practice. It's a fundamental security principle. It means granting users only the permissions they need to perform their roles, nothing more.
Right. So essentially it minimizes the windows of opportunity for security threats if someone's credentials are compromised, right?
Exactly. When you limit user access, you reduce the risk surface. For example, if a user does not have access to manipulate a critical data flow in Power Automate, they can't accidentally or maliciously alter it.
Which makes perfect sense in an environment like Power Platform that's all about agility. But I'm guessing implementing least privilege isn't just about ticking off a box on a security checklist.
Correct. It's an ongoing process, Mirko. It starts with understanding each role in your organization and the specific permissions needed for those roles. In Power Platform, you can set these roles at various levels, app environment or tenants.
That sounds like it could potentially be a huge task, especially in larger organizations.
That can be, but the long-term benefits are worth it. Having granular control ensures that users can do their jobs effectively without exposing your organization to unnecessary risks.
And I imagine that audit trails and user monitoring play a part here.
They do. By maintaining logs of user activities and regularly reviewing these logs, and are able to quickly spot any unauthorized attempts to access sensitive components of your Power Platform environment. Overall, the least privilege approach is really about striking a balance between functionality for users and security for the organization. Would you agree?
Absolutely. It's about maintaining that equilibrium. It's fascinating how such a simple principle is pivotal for a robust security posture.
And as technology evolves, it becomes even more crucial to remind everyone that least privilege isn't a one-time setup, but practice to be consistently maintained.
So to make things more tangible, can you share some real-world scenarios that highlight the risks of excessive permissions in Power Platform?
Absolutely. Mirko, there is one case that always comes to mind involved a medium-sized retail company. They had a Power BI dashboard with very sensitive sales data. Unfortunately, it was shared with employees who had no business seeing that information.
Wow, that sounds like a privacy nightmare. What happened next?
Well, because the access controls were too lax, one employee inadvertently shared this dashboard externally. The data ended up in the hands of a competitor.
That's a serious breach. How could such a mistake have been avoided?
By implementing the principle of least privilege right from the start. If only employees who needed that data for their job roles had access, this leak would likely have never occurred.
I see how critical it is. Any other examples that underscore this issue?
Another scenario was with a financial services firm. They had multiple Power Automate flows that required access to various systems, but they unwisely assigned admin rights broadly, thinking it made things simpler.
And what was the result?
When once configured flow had unforeseen outcomes, transferring client funds without proper authorization checks. So luckily, it was caught in time before significant damage was done, but only just.
That sounds like it could have been disastrous. It really drives home the need for careful permission management.
Absolutely. Which is why enforcing least privilege isn't just good practice. It's essential for safeguarding organizational data and maintaining trust. So, Mika, administrators play a pivotal role in enforcing least privilege within Microsoft Power Platform environments. It's their task to evaluate what users actually need to do their jobs without over-permissioning.
Absolutely, Marcel. By evaluating user needs accurately, admins prevent potential risks associated with excessive permissions. But it sounds like it involves a lot of constant tracking.
Exactly. Continuous monitoring is key here. Admins need to regularly check if permissions align with evolving job requirements, or if there's been any changes in roles that necessitate adjustments.
Right. And I suppose regular audits help ensure everything stays on track, correct?
Precisely. These audits can highlight anomalies or unnecessary permissions that might have crept in. It's about maintaining a tight control loop to uphold security.
Agreed, Marcel. It does bring up an interesting point about balancing security and user productivity, though.
So admins must strike that balance by defining permissions that cut to what is required and nothing excessive as a delicate but essential tasks.
Seems like proactive and skill administration is the backbone of a secure Power Platform environment then.
Indeed, Mirko, without a doubt, having experienced administrators in place avoids unnecessary risks and ensures efficient use of the platform.
Okay, when it comes to securing Power Platform, I'm particularly curious about the tools Microsoft offers that support these efforts. Can you break them down for me?
Absolutely. Let's dive into some of the key features. First, there's role-based access control, or RBAC, which is foundational in setting permissions.
Right. RBACs. That's pretty common across many platforms, correct?
Yes. Base is widely used, which makes it familiar to administrators working with different systems. It allows you to assign specific roles to users so they only have access to what's necessary for their job functions.
Makes sense. What else do we have?
We also have security groups. They are crucial for managing user permissions on a larger scale. By grouping users, you can efficiently control access and streamline security policies.
So these security groups can be used to enforce consistent security policies across different users.
Exactly. Provides a level of abstraction that simplifies user management, especially in larger organizations. And then there are environment-level policies.
Environment-level policies. How do they fit into the picture?
They help you to enforce specific rules and relations within individual environments in your Power Platform setup, like setting data loss prevention policies.
Interesting. This definitely sounds like it adds a layer of control at a macro scale.
Correct. It's about balancing security with usability, ensuring that your environment doesn't become unnecessarily restrictive while keeping it secure.
All right, that's a nice breakdown. Anything else you think is important before we move on?
That's the crux of it for now. We can always dive deeper into each feature specifics later on.
Great. Looking forward to exploring more. I guess that's it for now.
Security best practices for Power Platform start with regular audits. It's essential to review and assess what's happening within your environment periodically.
That makes sense. You're saying regular audits help keep everything in check.
Exactly, Mirko. They help identify potential issues early on and ensure that permissions and access rights are appropriate and up to date.
It sounds like these audits are a security foundation.
Absolutely, they're fundamental. And pairing the audits with proper user training will make a huge difference.
User training. How critical is that really?
It's extremely critical. You can have the best technology in place, but if users don't know how to interact with it securely, you're still at risk.
So regular training sessions, maybe.
Right, regular sessions, and also ensure that training covers real-world scenarios that they might encounter.
Practical examples always stick better.
Exactly, and to further strengthen security, leveraging existing security frameworks like Microsoft's Secure Score can provide clear insights and action steps.
Using a framework like that helps standardize security measures across the board.
Yes, and it gives you measurable way to see where improvements can be made, keeping your environment secure.
That definitely seems like a comprehensive approach.
By combining regular audits, effective user training, and leveraging strong security frameworks, you're setting up a robust security posture for your Power Platform.
Got it. Thanks, Marcel, for outlining those best practices.
No problem, Mirko. Security is a continuous journey, and staying vigilant is key.
Absolutely, Ray. So, Marcel, while implementing least privilege, how do you manage instances where users push back on their access being restricted?
That's a classic challenge, Mirko. That's a resist change, especially when it feels like they're losing something they've had. The key is to communicate effectively and clearly outline the benefits.
Right. It's about getting everyone on the same page. But how do you get buy-in from stakeholders who might see it as unnecessary red tape?
You first need to make them understand the security risks involved with too much access. Break down scenarios where excessive permissions can lead to security breaches using examples that are relevant to their roles.
Yeah, I guess once they see how it directly impacts their work, they're more likely to support the change.
Exactly. You also want to emphasize the balance between security and productivity. Ensure them that least privilege doesn't mean zero access, just right-sized access.
And what about the technical teams? They're often caught in the middle between security policies and user needs.
For the technical teams, engagement is crucial. Involve them in the decision-making process. Their input not only helps craft realistic policies, but also makes them advocates of the new system.
That's smart. When they feel heard, they're more likely to advocate for the changes internally.
Yes, and don't forget training and resources. Equip both users and tech teams with the knowledge to understand why and how least privilege works best.
Absolutely. And I bet continuous communication plays a significant role here.
Without a doubt, regular check-ins ensure everyone stays informed and can voice concerns or accesses, which smooths the transition significantly. So, Mirko, as we've discussed, assigning least privilege is crucial. Now, let's dive into continuous monitoring and its role in maintaining a secure environment.
Yes, I'm curious. How does monitoring fit into all this?
Well, it's all about ongoing visibility. Once you've set up your least privilege model, continuous monitoring helps ensure that permissions are being used appropriately.
So it's about keeping an eye on things regularly?
Exactly. By routinely assessing permission settings, you can catch any privilege escalation attempts or unauthorized access early.
Okay, but how do we actually carry out this monitoring?
There are various tools and platforms that can help. For instance, Microsoft tools can automate this process to some extent, sending real-time alerts if any anomalies are detected.
That sounds practical. So it's more about being proactive rather than reactive, I see.
Yes, precisely. It allows security teams to address issues before they pose significant risks.
And this continuous assessment, is it particularly challenging to implement?
Certainly a change, but with the right tools and processes, it becomes manageable over time. It's about creating a sustainable security culture.
It seems very important, especially in dynamic environments like what Power Platform offers.
So, Mirko, one of the key things I always tell people is that securing a Microsoft Power Platform environments doesn't have to come at the cost of innovation.
That's an interesting perspective, Marcel. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Absolutely. I think of it this way: by defining clear security boundaries and access controls, we actually create a sandbox where users can safely experiment and innovate without the risk of exposing sensitive data.
I suppose that makes sense. Setting up those boundaries must require some effort, though, doesn't it?
It does initially, But once those parameters are in place, the gauge ID users in knowing what they can and can't do, which in turn unleashes their creativity without worrying about breaching security protocols.
I see what you mean now. It's like giving them the freedom to innovate within a protected space.
Exactly. When users are confident that they are operating in a secure environment, they're more likely to experiment with new solutions. It's like having a playground with a fence around it.
And I guess that fence just helps everyone feel safer, knowing they're not going to fall off.
Yes, and when they know the boundaries, they can push their limits in creative ways, transforming organizational processes while staying secure.
Makes total sense. By ensuring security, you're actually encouraging them to innovate without the constant worry of what if something goes wrong security-wise. So Marcel, could you share a success story with us? Something that demonstrates the impact of using least privilege in Power Platform environments.
Absolutely. Mirko, there's a particular case that comes to mind with a large retail organization. They were facing significant challenges with their Power Platform environments because too many users had excessive permissions.
That's a common problem. But what did they do?
Well, they decided to implement a least privilege approach, which meant auditing and reducing the permissions granted to each user. Well, what was interesting is that initially there was a bit of resistance from users. They were accustomed to having broad access.
I imagine that the transition required some managing.
Indeed, but by communicating the security benefits and providing comprehensive training, they helped users understand the importance of this change.
So did they see tangible results?
Definitely. That's the privilege model in place. The security posture improved significantly. Unexpected benefit was that users actually felt more confident using the tools because they understood the environment was more secure.
That's amazing. User confidence can sometimes be overlooked as a metric of success.
Exactly. They also reported fewer incidents and less downtime, which meant it could focus on innovation and support rather than constantly putting out fires.
Sounds like a win-win situation for the organization. Thanks for sharing that, Marcel. It's always great to hear how theory applies in practice. All right, Marcel, so we've covered a lot in this episode. Shall we go over the key points to ensure our listeners have a solid understanding?
Absolutely. Mirko, it's essential to recap the strategies for securing Power Platform environments.
We discussed how critical it is to follow the principle of least privilege, right? Ensuring that users have just enough permissions to perform their tasks and nothing more.
Exactly. By doing so, organizations can minimize the risk of unauthorized access and potential data breaches.
And you emphasize the importance of regularly reviewing user roles and permissions.
Yes, because as projects evolve, the permissions needed might change. Regularly reviewing those roles helps maintain security without hampering productivity.
We also talked about leveraging Power Platform's built-in security features, like data loss prevention policies.
Right, and these tools make it easier to enforce security without a heavy administrative burden.
Another key takeaway was the importance of monitoring user activities and being proactive with threat analytics.
Threat analytics is a powerful feature that allows organizations to quickly identify and respond to suspicious activities, enhancing overall security.
So, Marcel, what final advice would you give to organizations aiming to secure their Power Platform environments while still fostering a culture of innovation?
I'd say it's all about striking the right balance. Organizations to empower users to innovate while ensuring that robust security measures are in place. Now, regular training and awareness programs can help users understand the security implications and the best practices.
Great advice, Marcel. Thanks for sharing your expertise with us today.
It's been a pleasure, Mirko. I'm hoping these discussions prove beneficial for organizations looking to strike that balance as well.
I'm certain they will. And as we approach the end of our episode, stay tuned, dear listeners, for more insightful discussions in our upcoming podcasts.